right. So I believe we are live right now. Excuse me, the art of working from home, and this is clearly an art, and I would call it an abstract art. We sent off one of our children with grandparents, and this guy was supposed to be napping, and here he is. So the art of working from home, lesson one, it's abstract. I'm Ryan Meador.
I'm Hollee Meador.
And we both work from home at the same time for the same company, and that's Meador Staffing Services. We are privileged to. Do you want to take him and get him organized? Again, this is a great lesson to start out because working from home is anything but organized. It's anything but controlled. Really, it's controlled chaos, especially if you have children and especially if you're working at home at the same time as your spouse. So, you know, I want to first kind of talk about how we do things here, but also how you, the individual who may be quarantined or may just be sent working from home right now because your company is doing that as a whole, what you can do, some tips to make sure that you're being productive and make sure that you are still getting all your work done. Um, Hollee and I are incredibly different performers at work. We are wired incredibly differently. Hollee is extremely task oriented. She can shut out everything and focus. And I, like squirrel, like I can't sit down longer than 20 minutes unless I'm on a meeting call or like that. And of course, we have our kids running around all the time too. So we
and
hope
dogs.
And dogs, and we have chickens now. Don't tell our neighbors.
It's a zoo.
Hopefully none of our neighbors are on this Facebook Live. Oh man. Anyway, so it's crazy. I think we are the most extreme example as you can get to working from home because we work for the same company and we're both working from home all the time with children. Especially during the quarantine time, we couldn't see grandparents. Grandparents couldn't watch them. So we were all here all the time. And Hollee will be able to really speak into how she can get her work done because my work is more project based, or I do a lot of meetings, a lot of one-on-ones. So having that time blocked out for me is easier. Hers is a lot of searching. She is a recruiter. I can let you talk on that.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll take him while you do that.
I am a direct hire recruiter for our executive search division. And so my job is working with our clients, working with our candidates. So there's a lot of phone calls. There's a lot of, search engines that go into play with my role. And so for me, working from home means being extremely planned out, which that is kind of my personality anyways. I always have a planner. We have a family calendar, and just really scheduling out everything that needs to happen for the week. So
that's a great segue into a tip that you can do if you're working at home with your spouse is
schedule plan. So I mean, without going into too much detail, because every family is going to be different, everything that the way that every family operates is going to look differently. But I mean, every Sunday we sit down and Ryan and I, after the boys go to bed, just sit down and really talk about what we have to do for the week. And there are things that are in my job that are very consistent every week. And that is, I know every Monday, my team and I are going to meet, and that is a non-negotiable. So every Monday we meet, and then every Friday our company has an entire company meeting that Ryan and I are both part of, and that is our town hall company-wide meeting. And so we know that those two things are for sure going to happen every Monday, every Friday, the same time. And then everything else, we just kind of fit in between there. So every phone call that I have to make with every candidate, scheduling interviews, any other thing that is offers a little bit more wiggle room. We try to schedule out the best that we can so that we're on the same page, because if we're not on the same page, then it is
difficult. So tip number 2 or 3 or 500, if you're working at home with your spouse again and you have kids running around, be flexible. Your job is not more important than hers and vice versa. You have to really have an understanding and a lot of communication, a lot of flexibility, and zero ego. Of course, there's going to come time when both of your priorities or high level priorities need to be taken care of at the same time. And what do? Well, that's where you're going to have to go guilt-free screen time with the kids. You're going to have to give them the iPad or put them in front of the TV. And with him, obviously, he's a wiggle worm. He doesn't sit still. He doesn't watch TV. So really, it's this. And it's important that you discuss with your boss or your manager expectations. If you're going to be quarantined, if you have corona or you're a family member or you shut down or whatever, bosses and managers actually may increase metrics to up performance at home and to ensure that you are doing what you should be doing, to really instill that discipline and that standard at the forefront. Now, it's really important that you say, hey, I don't think this is very possible. Let's try it out this week. And if I don't hit my metrics or my goals, then can we discuss, is that okay? And as a manager, it's very important that you try to be as understanding as possible, because this is real life. It's crazy. It really is. And if you have children as insane as, I say that lovingly, as ours, then it's very difficult. How many times have Oaks busted in naked or
a Zoom call
with a cape on a Zoom call, or when she's on a call with a candidate or a client, and I dive in like covert, bring them out. You just got to be ready. And our days are full. And even when a ton of work is not being done, our days are full just with managing our household. So
yeah, and just kind of, our standpoint and our point of view is work is extremely important. I mean, it's how we feed our family, our children, and but also at the same time, whenever we're not able to send our children, to school right now, or our kids literally are living with us day in and day out. And so for us, it's also very important to be complete role models. I mean, we have to watch everything that we say, because we have a 4-year-old that will regurgitate everything.
There's no secrets here.
There's no secrets here. And so we just really have to, if we're not on the same page and if we're not working together, and if one person has a poor attitude, it over spills into the rest of our family the rest of the day. And so there's a lot of starting and stopping throughout the day, because
which was really difficult for you.
It was very difficult for me.
Holly's a starter and a finisher at the same time. And when she couldn't do that, I mean, even before we had kids and worked from home and would have to juggle a little bit, it was very stressful, and we just had to talk through it. And really, working from home will be a great test and challenge, and obviously coming to fruition in a good way of your marriage. It really is. And it has only grown our communication, our understanding, our empathy, and honestly love for one another, because we get to witness each other in that work aspect. And I saw a funny meme that was like, really, you're a circle back around guy. You hear your spouses say things to people like, I didn't know.
I'm a circle back around girl. So
she is, and perfect. Holly, that's perfect. But it's just, you hear things that you wouldn't normally hear because you're not working, but you gain a respect, you gain an understanding. And if you can be flexible and have zero ego on, like, my job is so much more important. I'm the breadwinner. I bring up, well, there's still a huge piece to the puzzle for your family. So you need to respect that too. If you're an individual performer, you don't have family, then you need to really hone in on your discipline, and it'll be a great challenge for your discipline. Working from home is not a vacation.
Yeah.
At all. Even if you're an individual performer, you don't have a family, you don't have any kids, you really need to be disciplined and still structure your day. You may be able to get in a workout at home during the lunch break. He's all about it. But you also can take breaks when you want to. Your bathroom's right there. That's super nice. But you need to get that performance done. And again, it's all about communication with your manager and expectations. Managers, bosses, I'm sorry. Let me finish real quick before I lose this thought, because this guy. Have standards for your people and discuss those expectations. That's incredibly important.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, for
I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh.
This happens a lot.
Let me hold him.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Working from home, taking breaks.
Yeah, I mean, for, just for us and our viewpoint and where we stand is, all that we do on a daily basis, we just want to make sure that we are honoring our managers and our supervisors and glorifying God. And so, just that is number one in our household. And, we sit down and we kind of figure out what is important to us and our family. And, we're in a weird position where we work for the same company and we work from home. And so it's a little bit easier for us to kind of be, I think, on the same page. Whereas someone working from home right now during quarantine with a spouse, when they don't work at the same company, that can be a little bit more difficult. So I think it's really just important to set those family ground rules and really respect your spouse and what they have to do and what they have to accomplish. And there's already so much pressure already working from home as it is that, it is very easy to jump on each other's cases, for lack of, I guess, a better term, whenever you think that you have something important to do and something pressing, and so does the other person. And so, for us, it's just being very strategic into how we build and function in our day, and how we also tend to the hearts of Oaks and Archer, our boys, and just really figuring out our priorities. So throughout the day.
Yeah, it's really important. And so you can take the time. I'm telling you, on Sunday evenings or whenever you get the chance over the weekend, have a family meeting and plan your week. It will be incredibly beneficial. It can be a rough draft or a rough outline. You don't have to stick to it 100% because there will be a ton of flexibility that you need in there to be productive. But if you can say like, hey, you work here and I'll watch the kids in and then we'll switch and here's my meetings for the week. It really increases your level of discipline, your level of functionality, and it really increases your communication as a spouse.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, and I would say,
do you want to I'll get him. Hold on.
And I would say, just kind of, Ryan already touched on this earlier, but it is so important, to take breaks and take mental breaks, especially working from home. And so, and for us, that doesn't mean a break for ourselves is not tending to the kids, for an hour while, the other person does work. That's not a break. And so it's really important for us to allow each other time, a minimum of, an hour. And sometimes that varies, but for each of us to get our own time to do what we want to do. Working out, going to Starbucks, whatever that kind of looks like. And it is just not all rainbows and butterflies working from home, and the stress is real, the pressure is real, not only internally with each other all the time, but also externally reporting to managers and having other people who also need your attention.
A couple of tangible tips before we hop off of here, because I know this is probably hard to watch, but you work from home. So if you can have those open discussions with your boss, there is flexibility in time. If you have kids, you have to manage them during the day. A lot of stuff happens. You are still at home and all of your work is there in the evening. There's countless times Hollee is working late into the night. There's countless times that I have had to wake up at 5 to finish something or prepare for something.
And both of our boys still wake up at night. So
both of them. And so you're tired. It just is what it is, but you still have to get the job done. And that's the most important thing. The biggest benefit of working from home is, like I said, you're there 24/7. You're there all the time. So you can work late into the night or in the early morning. It's not uncommon for people to get emails from Hollee at 11 o'clock at night. Ask her manager. I know she talks about that all the time. And then I know a lot of people receive emails from me at 5, 6 a.m. So that's a benefit. That's a bonus. It's really cool. Another thing too, as far as your kids goes, have tons of activities for your kids. We actually ordered a homeschool program for our 4-year-old just because of the activities. It's not, whether we plan to homeschool him or not in the fall, we don't know what school happens. is going to happen. But there's a ton of activities there. He can do them himself. Just think outside the box of some things you can do to really, your kid can be right there quiet and managed, and you can get your work done too.
Yeah. I mean, puzzles have been, a lifesaver right now. And yeah, like Ryan said, like there's a ton of free, activities that you can find online for them to do, because we are also, we also try to limit, screen time. So we are very intentional where we don't just pass off an iPad, and say, here you go, bye. We do try to be more intentional.
So as we're getting off, I'll let Holly start kind of making our way off. And if you submitted any questions, we'll make sure to answer them in the comments after that, after this is over. But just to recap, whether you're, he's like, it's time, whether you're an individual, that has no family and you get to work from home and no distractions, discipline's your biggest benefit there. It's going to help you the biggest thing. Strategy is really important in planning out your week for anybody, family or not. Make sure you go ahead and do that. Communication with your boss, with your spouse, super important. Set expectations for yourself. Discuss those with your manager. Make sure that they discuss their expectations with you. Incredibly important.
Also mention Facebook comments.
Yes, all the comments and stuff on Facebook we will answer. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
She was directing me from outside the screen, making sure we get everything nailed down. But yeah, please ask your questions. We're gonna chat after this in the comments section, and I hope this was
not a waste of your time.
Not a waste of your time. I hope it was fun. At least you got to take a little break and see a cute baby, and hang out with us for a minute. We really enjoyed it. We love what we do. And even though it's insane, we really love being able to be with our family all the time. It's a huge benefit, but also it's really great when you get to go into the office from time to time and actually get some work done. But if you got to do it at home, take those tips that we gave you, and hopefully they'll help you out. And yeah, let's keep getting through this thing together, huh? Anything else? All right. The better person left the screen, so I'm just going to get off of here. All right.